Hello, William and Mary families. Welcome to the William and Mary Counseling Center information session during the Parent and Family Orientation Weekend. If my technology works. I am Dr. Karina Sudarsky-Glaser. I'm the director of the Counseling Center. I have been at William and Mary for a long time. I'm beginning my 29th year, so I am very familiar with the William and Mary culture and the students that we serve. I have been director for the last 8 years and was in different roles previously. I like to start a little bit with a little bit of humor. So let's see what you think about this caricature. So, first day of kindergarten, how difficult it is for parents and for kids to start that new role of being a student in a school and to get on that bus. And first day of college, a little different, right? But this is not the true for all students. Certainly, for instance, my oldest had difficulty adjusting to college, had anxiety, and was difficult to leave the family home. So it's not that all students are going to experience that readiness to leave. And so especially for those who will have adjustment issues, here we are there for them at the counseling center, because adjustment issues is a common presenting concern here at the counseling center. So we are located in the McClaw Tyler Wellness Center on the second floor, and our number is 757-221-3620. We are, as I said, on the second floor. All these windows are basically clinicians' offices. If you haven't visited the Wellness Center, I really recommend that you do. It's a beautiful space in this area of the lobby. This picture was taken at a time when we didn't have many students on campus, but certainly on a daily basis, we see a lot of students utilizing this area, either to have conversations or to study. They really appreciate the welcoming environment that we have at the Wellness Center and how beautiful the space is. These are other environments at the Integrated Wellness Center. So again, this is the lobby. Students would come through this door. There would be wellness ambassadors or student wellness ambassadors at the front desk, guiding them to any of the services that they may be looking for. Many times we have pet therapy here. So dogs that we have for students to, especially those who may be missing their pets, being able to pet them and enjoy that time with them. And as I said, many times students really enjoying this space. There are two big spaces for different type of activities. They offer meditation, mindfulness, yoga. And there are even some classes or seminars and outreach activities that take place in these multi-purpose rooms. There's this beautiful water fountain, a water wall that produces this very calming sound, and our students give feedback about how calming that is for them. At the counseling center, we also try to provide very warm and welcoming spaces for our students. We want them to feel that we are caring and attending to their needs. So as they come in, again, on the second floor, they would see a table with warm beverages. We have coffee, tea, hot chocolate, etc. And we have decorated our spaces in such a way that is also very welcoming. This is the middle picture here, my office, and it was early on when we moved to the new building, before I had spent half of my salary in plants, like it is now. But as you see, all spaces like with really attending to a calming environment. In terms of the scope of services, it's important to know that we provide services to all students, but we are not a comprehensive mental health facility. So what that means, for individual therapy, we see students on an every other week basis and for about a semester worth of therapy. Why is this? Because we follow a social justice perspective and pay attention to access. So if we were to provide weekly therapy for the 4 year students are here, some students would receive a lot of therapeutic services, but some others would not be able to receive any. So for that reason, we have developed this scope of services so that most of our students could have some therapy and not some a lot and some none. I hope that makes sense to all of you. So for students who need either specialized treatment, longer terms, or more frequent than on an every other week basis, we help students with referrals, taking into consideration their needs as well as their insurance and also their transportation options. We have a mental health services coordinator. Her name is Emily, and she would meet with students who need a referral to the community. And based on their needs, based on their insurance, she would provide them with names of community mental health services that would be a good fit for their needs. She may even volunteer if the student is interested in scheduling a first session with a given provider. And she follows them afterwards to make sure that they didn't have any difficulty connecting with the referral option. In terms of, and I want to add that many times the student may have for an initial session and the provider, the clinician at the counseling center refers them to community providers. And the reason for that is that, yes, there could be a semester certainly with us, but for certain type of concerns, it doesn't make really sense to start therapy with a clinician and then a semester later changing. If the case is that they will need more than a semester of therapy, it makes more sense for them to start already with the therapy, the therapist who will be able to provide them the longer term experience that they need. In terms of after hours or emergency services, I want to let you know that even though the counseling center closes at 5, we have ways for students to communicate with a clinician after hours or on weekends. There are 2 different options for that urgent communication with the provider. One is calling our number after hours. A service called Protocol answers our number, our calls, and these are clinicians trained in the services that are available at the William and Mary, again, Counseling Center and William and Mary in general. And also, if the providers who are answering those calls need to consult with the clinicians from the William and Mary Counseling Center on call, we are there for them. They can contact us and we can consult with them. In addition, there is a service called Timely Care. It's a virtual platform that William and Mary contracted with that provides different type of services, and I'm going to tell you what those are towards the end of the presentation. But for now, be aware that they offer something called Talk Now. And with Talk Now, they are available day, night, weekend, at any time. And students can just reach out for them to attend to their whatever is coming up for them. My recommendation is that for more serious concerns after hours, they reach out to our number and connect with Protocol. And as I said, if need be, protocol clinicians connect with the counseling center clinician on call. For the less serious concerns, the Talk Now is a perfectly good option. So, for instance, if someone is anxious about not being able to complete a paper that is due soon, tomorrow, or if someone is experiencing difficulty with a friend or a roommate, for any type of concern that is kind of a solution-based concern that we need to find an answer right now, the Talk Now feature is very convenient. In terms of the reasons why our students utilize our services, so there are multiple reasons. One, students may use the counseling center as a self-care strategy or a prevention strategy when they know that they tend to experience some type of mental health concerns on a regular basis, or when they are stressed, or when they are away from home. And if they if they know that, then it makes a lot of sense to use counseling as prevention before things become more concerning or interfere with their functioning. For other students, they utilize our services when they have worked on a given issue or given symptoms before, and they know that they will continue to experience this type of concerns on a regular basis. And so they want to continue to work on those concerns. And the third reason is if someone actually is seeking help for something new, or a current type of situation that it's negatively affecting or impacting their level of functioning. What are the most common presenting concerns for our students? Tend to be anxiety and depression. Depression used to be number one when I started my career in collegiate mental health, and now is anxiety. There are multiple reasons for that. I don't want to use a lot of your time to give you an explanation of what that could be, but it's multiple reasons for that change from depression to switching to number two, and anxiety number one. And this is not just at William and Mary, but it's across the nation. The third most common presenting issue is family concerns, followed by interpersonal or relationship difficulties, academic performance or perfectionism, eating concerns or body image issues, some type of either history or more recent trauma, self-esteem and self-confidence concerns, adjustment, especially to college, and that transition is common, as well as actually for seniors, the transition out of college. Attention and concentration difficulties is also a common presenting issue, and social isolation is a frequent concern also for our students. So how we work, the first session that students tend to have is what we call an initial consultation. During an initial consultation, they would complete some paperwork, and a clinician would meet with them to understand what is their presenting concern, what is happening that brought them to the counseling center. Students can schedule that initial consultation either by calling our number, walking in, or scheduling online. It's important to know that even though we offer multiple initial consultations on any given week, there are certain times in the semester where we may experience a 2-week or even 3-week wait. However, for urgent needs, time-sensitive needs, or emergencies, students can be seen on the same day. Just by walking into the counseling center and saying that they need to see a therapist that day, they will be seen. And as I said, for maybe perhaps less serious concern, they can use the Timely Care Talk Now feature. The services we provide. So once we meet with the student for the initial consultation, we could offer different options. One, it would be the individual therapy, and that could be, again, at the counseling center if their concerns would be a good fit for the shorter term therapy that we offer and the every other week basis scheduling. Group therapy is also a very popular therapeutic approach that we offer. We have several, 8 or 9 groups per semester. Groups are the treatment of choice for many presenting concern, particularly when there is any type of interpersonal concern. So yes, even social anxiety as an interpersonal issue. And many times the students would tell me, did you not hear that I experience a lot of social anxiety and you want to put me in a group? Just be aware that, again, the research and our knowledge and experience has proven that group therapy is the treatment of choice for social anxiety, for instance. What happens in group is that students realize that they are not the only ones experiencing a given concern. They feel, oh, I'm not alone in this with this issue, and they get to practice those skills that they find that could be intimidating in any other type of situation. Our groups are small and very supportive. We ask students to really be respectful of each other and kind. So for a student to experience that social anxiety in a setting where they are going to be received support is one of the most powerful experiences I have observed, how they change from feeling at times even shaking to in a few weeks feeling comfortable in the group setting. The emergency, urgent, or crisis intervention service is, as I mentioned, is something that any student could receive on any given day. They could walk in and they will be seen that day. After hours on call, as I mentioned, any student could use our number and they will after hours or on weekends, and they will connect with protocol. And again, if protocol clinicians need any of us, they are able to reach the clinician on call from the counseling center for any type of consultation. Consultations are services for students who are concerned about someone else. So a consultation is, for instance, a service that a student could benefit when they are concerned about a roommate who may not have gotten out of bed in the last few days, or a sibling who seemed to them that they are very depressed. And so they could meet with a clinician, explain the situation, and receive some guidance on how to approach that significant other, and without having to become a therapist for that person, right? So how to refer them to the appropriate services, how to complete a care report or care concern that is something that is utilized here on campus. And hopefully you have heard about care concerns. But if you haven't, please seek that information in the care support services page, because even parents can complete a care support request when they are concerned about a student. Outreach is services that we provide to student organizations. So for instance, an organization may request a kind of psychoeducation on stress management or eating concerns, and a clinician from the counseling center would go and present information to any type of organization that is making this request, so that the whole community could benefit from information share. Referrals to community providers, as I mentioned, we have a mental health services coordinator, Emily, and students could actually schedule directly with her and not having to go through the initial consultation to then be referred to Emily and then to the community provider if they know already that they need or would like more frequent services than the biweekly services that we provide, or if they are aware that they need longer or want the longer term or have a provider that they can connect for the 4 years that they are here. So they can schedule online or calling to schedule directly with Emily. Last but not least, we provide coordination of care with other resources on campus. So, for instance, with the health center, if there is anything that we are aware that may have more a physical or organic component, we may refer students to the health center, either for those who need just general medical care or for psychiatric services, because those are offered at the health center. In addition, we can connect them with care support or with student accessibility or any other type of service that is offered on campus. At this point, I like to also inform parents about tuition reimbursement insurance, because I certainly didn't know about this type of insurance when my kids were in college, and I'm aware that many parents are not, have never received that information. So this is particularly important for parents or families who know that a student experiences certain type of physical, medical issues or mental health issues that put the student at risk of having to need a medical withdrawal from any semester. So what the tuition reimbursement does is for, in those situations, being able to be reimbursed for the tuition for that semester if a student needs to have some time away from college. We don't have a recommendation on any particular one, but I'm really aware that there are multiple of those insurance services that you could find probably online and do some research. I now want to talk about confidentiality. Many of you may already know, but some perhaps not so much, about how, based on federal state laws and the ethical guidelines of our profession, clinicians, therapists are not able to speak with anyone without written permission from the student. There are some exceptions to that rule, but even if parents, professor, deans, President Rowe were to call me and say, I know that this student is seeing one of the clinicians, can you provide me with some information? My answer is, and any of that clinician's answers is going to be, I cannot confirm or deny that I know that student. Obviously, if a student signs a release because they want us to connect them with other services or they want us to have open communication with families, they can certainly sign a release and we will have open communication in those cases. If that's not the case, the following are exceptions to the confidentiality rules. One is in cases where the clinician determines that a student is at risk of harming this, or high likelihood that they will harm themselves or others without additional, more intensive support. When students disclose that someone who cannot protect themselves, such as a minor, an elderly person, a person with significant disabilities, if they are being abused or neglected, it is our duty as clinicians to help that person receive the support they need. So either informing child protective services, elderly support, etc. The third exception to confidentiality is if records are being subpoenaed by a judge. In my career, I have never experienced that, so it tends to be very unlikely. And last but not least is information is requested by the William and Mary Threat Assessment Team. In those cases, they would be seeking information about a student who has either high likelihood that they would harm either themselves or others. So in that sense, that fourth exception to confidentiality tends to be the same as the first one. Students receive this information when they start therapy or when they seek any of our services. They are very aware about the confidentiality rules and the confidentiality exceptions. I want to share a little bit who our staff is. So we have the members of our staff are generalists, clinicians who are have expertise in collegiate mental health, not expert in any particular diagnosis, but as I said, highly trained and experienced in college counseling settings, as well as trained and experienced with different types of diversity. Our students complete a satisfaction survey every semester, and their results indicate that students feel that not only we respect their different identities, but that we are affirming, sensitive, and that we celebrate their intersecting identities. Our staff includes therapists, clinicians, with different type of professional identities, such as psychologists, social workers, and licensed professional counselors. In addition, we have two level of training programs that include doctoral interns. So the doctoral interns are trainees who have completed all their doctoral work. They just need 1 year of full-time internship, the same way that physicians need the residency. Psychologists need 1 year of experience under supervision in a given setting. It could be a VA, hospital, and obviously at our center are interns who have high interest in working in the future in counseling centers. The others are advanced doctoral trainees. These are doctoral students in one of the programs in this area that are in their either third or fourth year of their doctoral work. Our doctoral interns come from anywhere in the nation. We receive 60 to 100 applications on a given year, and we end up with 3 psychology. Last but not least, we have our support staff who will be the ones welcoming your student to the counseling center. So Lynn and Lex are there to support and welcome students. This is the last basically informational slide that I have for you. It's about Timely Care. As I said, I want to inform you about this service. It is a platform that William and Mary and most Virginia schools have contracted with. It's a virtual platform that provides access to mental health services of different kinds. First, they offer ongoing counseling. So for students who like virtual services, it's a great service, especially they many times tend to have less of a wait time than we do. And also another benefit is that many of their clinicians are licensed in different states. So when they go home, say for winter break, they can continue seeking or seeing their provider. They also provide health coaching, which is a service for students who want to change certain health habits. So for instance, who want to improve their sleep hygiene, who want to increase their exercise, who would like, who want to engage in smoking cessation, who want to reduce substance use. So for any of those habit changing type of concerns, health coaching is ideal. They also offer psychiatry, and that would be is one of the only services that we need to refer to. Other than that, they can access any of the services. But for psychiatry, either the health center or us at the counseling center need to provide them with a specific number to be able to access that. Talk Now, as I mentioned, is for any type of concern that is present in the moment that they would like to address possible solutions to a given issue. And psychoeducational materials, they have, I want to say, in any given topic, they have multiple resources that students can really benefit from. So I would recommend that you take a picture of this QR code. And believe me, I will be informing all the students also about Timely Care because it's again, a great resource. And I will be asking them to register to Timely Care. So if you can help me out and also recommend that for your student, please take a picture of the QR code and send it to your students so that they can register. By registering doesn't mean that they are going to have to use it. It is just that they complete some forms and they would have access to all the services I just mentioned. I tell students it's better to have it and not need it than to need it and don't have it. So if they need it and they have to at that time complete forms, it could be frustrating. But if they already registered, they can easily access all these services. Okay, and we are at the end of my presentation. I just want to thank you for being here, for spending your time with me, for listening to all this information, and congratulations on getting to your student to this point and this new phase of their lives. It's not easy being a parent. It's not easy to get to this point where the students are admitted to such an excellent university. So congratulations and best of luck in your own process of sending your student to school. If you're willing, I would love to hear your feedback. You can complete this form and just give me some helpful input about if it was useful, if I can improve in any way the information, share if there is anything that you wish I would have included. So thanks so much, and thank you for participating. Bye.